Oh, I'm sorry. This house is just crazy. We've got all these extra kids running around. My brother-in-law drove in from Ohio today. It's just nuts.
How come you didn't bring more cheese pizzas?
Nice tip. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Having a reunion or something?
Oh, no, my husband's brother transferred to Paris last summer, and both of his kids are still going to school here, and I guess he missed the whole family. He's giving us all this trip to Paris for the holidays so we can be together.
You're taking a trip to Paris?
Yes, we hope to leave tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
If you'll excuse me, this one's a little out of sorts. I'll be right back.
Don't worry about me. I spoke to your husband already. And don't worry about your home. It's in good hands.
There are 15 people in this house. You're the only one who has to make trouble.
I'm the only one getting dumped on.
You're the only one acting up. Now, get upstairs.
I am upstairs, dummy. The 3rd floor?
Go.
It's scary up there.
Don't be silly. Fuller will be up in a little while.
I don't want to sleep with Fuller. You know about him. He wets the bed. He'll pee all over me. I know it.
Fine. We'll put him somewhere else.
I'm sorry.
It's too late. Get upstairs.
Everyone in this family hates me.
Then maybe you should ask Santa for a new family.
I don't want a new family. I don't want any family. Families suck.
Just stay up there. I don't want to see you again for the rest of the night.
I don't want to see you again for the rest of my whole life. And I don't want to see anybody else either.
I hope you don't mean that. You'd feel pretty sad if you woke up tomorrow morning and you didn't have a family.
No, I wouldn't.
Then say it again. Maybe it'll happen.
I hope I never see any of you jerks again.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Man Cave. We are Corey and Ryan, and we have a special guest today. We got Cooper on the pod. You are listening to the Much About Nothing podcast, the show where we give expert takes, good-hearted debates. We talk ball and anything and everything else. Today, we talking anything and everything else. We will be discussing 80s babies parenting. If you got something to say, put it in the comments. If you're new to the pod, greetings. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, smash that bell. If you're already part of the fam, welcome back. Please like, share, and comment. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Let's get into it.
Yes. Like the brother said, we're talking 80s babies parenting. And like that clip said, well, I think a lot of us, if we would have said a lot of those things, we might not have been here today. I'm pretty sure I might not have survived. Crash the dummy, I would have been knocked out of this world. I would not be on this podcast talking to you lovely people today. But yeah, like he said, we're talking 80s babies and our parenting. So we're going to start this thing off with how we were raised and how we raise kids today. The difference.
Okay. Cool. You remember how you was raised? I know it was a long time ago, almost 40 years ago, man. You remember how you was raised?
So for starters, it wasn't 40 years ago. Let's stop there. But I want to introduce myself also, man, to your listeners.
Okay, what you got?
I'm sure I don't know everybody, but I'm Coop. I've known Hamp for some time now. Probably a lot of those up to 40 years that he's talking about. Even though we're not there, he's closer to it than I am. But I want to thank y'all, Corey. I want to thank both of you guys for having me on. You know, very excited, man. I've been seeing what y'all been doing. I'm grateful and appreciative to be a part of it. So thanks again.
Man, I appreciate that, man. Much kind words. It's one of my solid day ones, man. I've been knowing this guy since, man, it might have even been in the 80s. It's a long time, man. Jeez.
And that makes us sound even older.
Yeah, I know it sounds bad. Yeah, we was born in the late 1900s.
Facts. It kills me when I hear my kids say that. He was born in the 1900s. I'm like, wait, 19? Dang, I was. But man, yes, of course. Do I remember how I was raised? There's something you never forget that. I know, at least for me, you know, some things still ring in my ears. You know, it's some memories, it's some odd memory, like certain things I just can't forget. You know, even with my children today, it's just certain things I would see happen. Like, wow, if I would have did that, I probably wouldn't be here today, like Corey just said. But that clip, wow. For starters, Buddy went upstairs and said, "I'm already upstairs, stupid." I said, "Whoa, whoa." The wrong thing. I was about to get hit when he said that. Jeez. But to get to your point, man. Yeah, like I was. My mom was pretty strict. It was more so a respectful strict, though. And my mom was a little older too, so I didn't have the luxury of having that. I wouldn't say luxury. I'm glad I didn't actually have that. Some kids have that cool mom. They grow up, mom doing the same things they doing as they're growing up.
They growing up together.
Yeah.
Figure it out together.
I think with my intuitiveness and my curiousness, if I would have had a mother that was growing up with me, I probably wouldn't be here today. To be honest, it would have been a lot more bad decisions that I definitely would have made that I wouldn't have been able to say, if I do this, my mom's gonna kill me. But so I did a lot. I was just curious. I don't think I was a bad kid. I was just curious. Like I just had to know. So if you tell me don't do something, now I gotta know why you don't want me to do it. But I'm thankful and I'm grateful. I wouldn't change a thing at all. That's pretty much my spiel. How about you guys?
Yeah, on you, Corey. Tell me. You remember the days?
Oh yeah, I mean, one thing I can say, I ain't really forgot nothing. But I want to start by saying I'm thankful for my parents taking their time to even do discipline. Some people don't have parents in their life. Regardless what they did, I know I'm comfortable within myself to know that they did their best. My sister's in the chat too. She know the same way. My parents perfect. No, I don't think any parents are, but they did their best. But also, it's a lot of things I learned from that I would do differently, especially with raising my kids. Like Coop, it's a lot of things when I'm raising my own kids and see them do, and it take me back. Like, man, I did that same thing, and I knew what I got when I did it. I'm like, man, God's grace. Thank you, Lord. But yeah, it's definitely. I know my kids don't know how good they have it, especially when they go over to their grandparents' house. I'm like, see them do the same thing, and then my mama and daddy telling me to have patience. I'm like, you didn't have that patience. What in the world? But I know as you get older, you change. See, that's the thing. I mean, like Coop had an older parent. My mother was 21 and my daddy was 26. Dad's not too old, but my mom, she's just in this thing. So she was learning along the way. So they couldn't be perfect because they didn't know what parents was. And my father went out his life when he was 11. So most of the stuff that he learned on the fly. You know what I'm saying? It's the way things go. But yeah, I remember a lot of the things, man. I remember a lot of I got beat. I got beat just like most black kids did. I think most kids growing up. I don't know. When I went to school one day, one kid did find it surprising when I said, "Yeah, I got beat." He said, "You got beat?" I said, "Yeah." He looked like he wanted to call Social Security. I said, "Let me shut up." Cause my mama told me if Social Security come, she gonna kill me. Yeah, you gonna make it worse, brother. Yeah, but yeah. It's plenty of things. The deeper we get into it, maybe I'll unveil some of the stories. Maybe.
Right.
Man, I can tell you, man, I have a hard time remembering really getting a lot of spankings or anything like that. If we're talking about just the corporal punishment of it, I guess because I was a good kid. You know what I mean? Cool.
That's why I used to like to come to your house.
Yeah, I was the role model. I was a role model kid. Like I ain't really getting much trouble. I ain't getting much trouble. But you know the funny thing, besides the spankings and stuff, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but sometimes I could be sitting anywhere in the house, and the kids could be playing, they could be doing the right thing, they could be doing the wrong thing, and I have a surreal moment, like I'm really somebody's daddy. I don't know if y'all ever feel that. Like it's like it feels like it wasn't that long ago that I was a kid. And so sometimes I look around, or sometimes I'm at work and I think about it, and I'm like, man, like I'm somebody daddy. But okay, all right. So going into we talked about some of that. Now, what do you do differently? How you raise your kids than how do you remember when you were being raised?
You want to go,
Cool.
Coop? You want to take it?
It's on you, Coop, first.
Oh, it's on me.
It's on
Oh
you.
man, something that I do differently.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Um,
better yet, or it could even be something the same, bro.
well, for starters, so no, let me say this. Let me say this. So there is no pamphlet or no manual for this raising kids thing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Facts.
Um, so like I said, and I've had people ask me, people my age, like, how, you're a good dad or how you raise your kids, etc. But like I said, like again, there is no right way. There's more than one right way, right? But for me, I think everything starting out, everything was the same for me, right? Like I wasn't changing anything. Like my mom was strict, I was strict. It was, if you come to the table, come to the kitchen table, like no electronics, put the electronics up. Make sure you say your grace before you eat. When I ask you to do something, go do it. I don't want to hear nothing else. Just go do it. You know, um, I was stern on discipline, right? And I still am actually, but I'm a lot more lenient. Um, but it's about respect for me. It's the biggest thing is just being respectful. Don't talk back to your parents. Um, that's my main objective with raising my kids is being respectful, and I want to make sure, like I tell my kids, no a lot. Um, I'm the devil's advocate a lot in my household. I'm the bad guy, right? I'm always the bad guy. Even like my kids' grandparents will call me, hey, such and such is acting up. I'm the disciplinary parent, with all my kids. And it hurts my feelings at times. Like I want to be the fun parent, you know. However, I don't want to. I don't want the first time my kid hears no to be a shocker to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the first time my kid is disappointed to be when they're 20 or in school, right? Um, so I need for me it's important for my kids to see the other side. Like everything is not all peaches and cream. I mean, it's just not. I think a lot of some people gonna take this wrong way, but I think a lot of kids are softer nowadays, and they're not disciplined at home. And I think that's one of the reasons that the suicide rates with teens and young kids are so high. But they don't know how to deal with rejection. You know what I'm saying? And this is the every kid gets a trophy era. I hate that. I hate that. I tell my kid, no, dog, you lost. It don't feel good, does it? You lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we race, I dust them. Nah, you lost. If you want to win, then you got to get better, right? But I want you to understand that you lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just want to keep it real. Like it is what it is. The people out there in the streets they ain't gonna cut no corners with you, right? So why should I do it in my household?
I
But
respect it. What about you, Cord?
I say it's a lot of things I do differently, but one of the biggest things that I know for a fact that I wanted to do differently is the fact that I apologize to my kids. When I do wrong, I make sure I
mm-hmm,
apologize to my kids. Some
mm-hmm,
people build this thing within themselves. They don't want to let their kids see them make a mistake. But then I felt like as a child, I felt like my parents had to be perfect. When I measured them to that and they fell short, I was mad at them and I had less understanding. Me today, I have a lot of understanding because I'm a parent too, and I know I can match what I am today to my parents. So I learned that. But I want my child to know that while she's young. So when I make a mistake, I tell her, Daddy made a mistake. That's what Daddy was trying to do, and that's why Daddy did that. And that's what we'll carry on for him. I'm not even she 5 year old. I try to my best to explain to her and make sure she knows I love her. I'm not perfect. But I love her. I care for you, and I'm not going to do this. we can always come to the table and talk to each other. That's one of the core principles I think we as parents have to do. We have to let our children know, even though we might seem like supermen and superwomen, we're not that. We make mistakes. We're human beings, and we fall short. I do my best. I'm not always right.
Okay, I like both of those. I'm gonna throw y'all for a loop here. One of the things I remember as a kid growing up, I couldn't. My son's 8, and I wasn't much older than that. And I remember my mom teaching me and putting an emphasis on being tough.
Mm,
Like if somebody hit me, I gotta hit them back. You know,
mm,
if something happens, I better not come in the house losing. You know,
mm,
I better you better swing hard, or it was an emphasis on
Mm.
but I get it. I get it. I get
mm,
it. Coming from the era that they're coming from, like you you almost look at an 8-year old and you think you're raising a man.
mm,
And at this point, like now when I look at my son, I don't see a man. I don't see a man. I see an 8-year old. And
mm,
for me, not to say that it's the right way or the wrong way, I think that while they were trying to make sure that our innocence didn't hurt us, I'm trying to protect and keep as much innocence in my boy as long as I can. And I don't know if it's the right way. Who knows? I don't know if it's the right way, but I just know that's one of the biggest things that I see about it. I don't know. I'm gonna ask you guys, like, how do y'all feel about uh, your kids getting in altercations at school or in the neighborhood? You know, not to be funny, but the neighborhoods we're raising our kids in probably aren't like the neighborhoods that we grew up in.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest caveat. But let's go ahead. What you got, Coop?
Yeah, isn't that the goal?
Isn't that the goal?
Right?
We don't work this hard to stay the same.
yeah.
So exactly. But with that being said, man, it's a saying that I heard. I'm not gonna say quote because I'm sure I'm gonna butcher it, but they said I should have had this guy. If your dad, I'm gonna get to your point about altercations in the but they said if your granddad drove a
Yeah.
Cadillac and your dad
I think I
drove
still got it in here.
for if your dad drove no if your dad drove if your granddad drove a
I
Honda,
deleted it.
your your dad drives a Cadillac and you'll drive a Ferrari, right? But your kids gonna drive something better than a Ferrari, but their kids will be walking
Yeah.
or something. Man,
No,
I
and
I'm
that's
messed that up a
uploading it
bit.
right now. I
You,
still have. I got the clip. I got the clip on my John. I'm uploading now. We played that in the
okay.
episode. Yep. So y'all
Yeah,
know
but
here.
basically what they're
Yep.
saying, man, we like with our kids growing up all in the better neighborhoods and they have all the caviars or what have you. It's making them soft. Like they don't know how to adjust to the real world. But anyway, back to your point, Hal. My kids getting into altercations. Again, stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself. Don't. It's gonna be hard for me to accept you coming in this house telling me somebody hit you. Did you hit back? Did you fight back? So for stars, win, lose, or draw, as long as you fall back and stood up for yourself, I'm okay with that. But if you come here and tell me somebody hit you and you didn't do anything about it, then that's again, I'm an advocate for standing up for yourself. I'm an advocate for respect, right? Like in everything I do, regardless of who you are, like everyone should be respected. Okay, how nice you are or whatever, everyone should be respected. So that's my take on it. If my son or my daughter come here and say somebody hit them, then uh, they better have fought back. And if my daughter comes in here, and tells me something happened to her, my first question is, where was your brother?
Yeah.
Right? So let's for starters, and so me and him won't have a problem also. I don't care where he was. He better have found his sister and found out what happened and tried to rectify the issue before they came back home, right? But yeah, man, if somebody put their hands on you, you can't allow that, or you can't allow yourself to be disrespected. But that doesn't mean you gotta, don't stand there and just try to fuss and out argue people. Like, I'm not talking about arguments. Like, people can argue all day, whatever the case may be. Like, you just going about your business. But people putting their hands on you is a whole nother ballpark.
You.
Yo,
Corey,
So I'm gonna end it there. You,
Corey, what you think, Corey?
Yeah, I think the quote goes, tough time creates strong men. Strong men create easy time. Easy time create weak men. And that's the way it flows, something like that. But now I got a different dynamic. Usually what I tell my kids to do is go find an adult and tell them, because my daughter is 5, and I don't think she can make the proper judgment between what's an actual hit and what's actual play, and she might be the one insinuating the fight. At the same time, I don't know if she's old enough to judge that. Some adults don't even know when it's the proper time to defend yourself. What's the difference between actually defending yourself and actually starting a fight? I ain't never met nobody that was in a fight and felt like they was wrong until after the fight. They might have looked back on it and saw what they was wrong in the situation. But during the fight, oftentimes we don't know. And it's hard for me to put that on my 5-year-old to make that judgment. So I would rather her go to an adult and let them de-escalate the situation. So that's mostly, but I do agree that environment is a big difference. Like my daughter grows up in Christian Academy. When I come there, usually the other kid crying too. Like it's 2 kids crying about what went on, and they hug and they go back. But I have never, I can't say I ain't never, but you know what I'm saying? I when I cross that bridge when I get to it, but I do tell my nephew the same thing. And my mother used to put it on us. Don't let nobody put your hands on you. But also told us if we get suspended for school, like it's like, all right, I'm gonna get a whooping regardless. I'm gonna get a whooping. And like it depends. But I think as a child, when I got to the age where I knew the difference is when I started using my hands. I didn't use my hands that often, but I took it to a place. I fought when I was prepared for the consequences of me fighting. I weighed the consequences. I said I would rather get my mother to beat me than to not fight right now. So when I made that distinction, and just like anything, I'm prepared to go to jail rather than not fight right now. I'm prepared to die than not fight right now. I look at the consequences and I say whether I'm prepared to avoid those consequences for the choice I'm gonna make right now. But I can't expect my daughter to know that.
Okay.
So can I highlight something and piggyback off what Corey said, right? So note how Corey and I have very different perspectives, right? But understanding is also important. Like I see it my way and Corey sees it his way, but I do not think Corey is wrong at all, right? It's just different perspectives. And I also want to highlight, my mom told me if somebody hit me, go tell the teacher or something like that, right? But I tell my kids, if somebody hit you, you put it on them, right? But Corey parents told him if somebody hit him, handle his business. But he tell his kids now, if somebody hit them, tell the teacher. You see how we both are giving our kids the opposite message of what we got.
Yeah,
that's facts. But
and we receive opposite messages.
Let's put this in perspective, Coop. All right, here goes a truth. Let's stop and think about this. When you and I were kids, like it was nothing abstract for us to be fighting in the streets. There was nothing abstract about it. I'm pretty sure you and I probably fought 3, 4, 5 times, probably. Like I mean, it was. But stop and think about the fact that you're older, right? Like, how often do you find yourself in physical altercations?
So for starters, if I go somewhere and I feel like the energy is off, I'm leaving. So
exactly. So exactly what you're saying is what I try to explain to my son, especially. Not definitely for my daughter. I don't want to see my heart will break a million pieces if I find out my daughter out here fighting in these streets. But especially with my son, I try to teach him how to interpersonal skills. That man, you ain't got to like you really ain't got to. Now I agree with you guys. Like I don't want nobody putting their hands on my son. But there's a lot of things that can happen before it gets to that point. We don't stumble into these situations.
Yeah.
Like
The,
there's things that happen beforehand in which we can. I don't know, man. It's tough though. It's tough.
the middle ground. The
Like
middle ground.
because I'm just so glad that Coop is on this episode because when I tell you like me and Coop growing up, I look at my son at the age of my son. When I was 8 years old, I feel like me and Coop was out in the woods cooking on hand. We were cooking on, we were cooking in the woods with stoves and matches and doing all types of stuff. I mean, in the middle of the woods, like just doing all types of stuff, riding our bikes from the other side of town, places that you could get. And I look at my son, and it's like, there's no way I allow him to do nothing like that.
Right.
I mean, it's, but I don't know what the right answer is. It's tough. Like I don't know. I think I operate with a different fear than I think my parents had. That's how I feel.
See,
I have a different fear.
like I'm a little different. Like I want my son to go out. That God forbid this happens, but I want him to go out there and get hurt. Like go scrape your knees up or something. Like go flip off the trampoline and break your leg or something. Like go do stuff outside. You know what I'm saying? Like I want them to have that hands-on experience because I think that molds you, to be different, to learn how to operate and think outside the box. To me that's important. Like get outside. Well, I need my Game Boy. No, you don't. Just get outside and figure it out. Hell, we had sticks.
Yeah.
I remember one time you told LT. Now LT told you. I forgot what the argument was about, but LT told you sticks and stones don't break my bones. No, he said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. How you said I use the sticks and stones then? And you hit LT with that stick. Man, it was in my front yard. I'll never forget that. But anyway, like. I feel it's important to create those kind of memories. Like, just get outside and play. It doesn't matter that you don't know the white kid across the street. Go play with him. Like, just go get dirty,
Facts.
But,
he said the pollen is bad these days.
Right.
What's the next one, Corey?
Yeah, I want to say, John, that's an excellent point before I move on to the next one. He said, if you hit someone for touching in or hitting you, whether it's the line between it being revenge versus self-defense. And I always like to shout out like the Bloods and Crips. Like the Bloods and Crips both set out to try to do the same thing, but eventually they got pit against each other, and then it can start from one person wounding one person. And then they go. I watch anime, so y'all probably don't know this. In Naruto, this is the dilemma of violence against one person. Then that person does violence against you, and then it's so on, so on. It's also a show. I think it was a show about them cutting down trees. I don't know if y'all saw this. It was these white folks and these two different groups. They were tree cutters, and they just killed each other, whole families. Yeah, I found out it was some versus something. But yeah, that's an interesting point. Once violence meets violence, you get in that habitual point of revenge. Also, at this time, I would like to say again, while y'all here, please like, share, and subscribe. It's right there at the bottom. One or the other, right or left. I don't know where it's at. But if you're on your handheld device, I'm pretty sure it's down there. Take this time to like, share, and subscribe. And smash that button, man. Ring that bell, man. So you can come on and y'all don't miss none of this great content. So the next point that we're going to is how we handle discipline. How do we handle discipline?
You cool.
Gonna throw that on me first?
I'm throwing on you first.
So it's a tough one, boy. So for starters, right? I told you how when my kids were first born, older kids or what have you, it was, sit down or I'm gonna pop you. If you don't do this, I'm gonna pop you, or don't talk back, I'm gonna pop you, right? But I've grown to be a lot more lenient over the years, and what I understand is kids nowadays, it's a different ballpark. They're a lot smarter than we were, and they're exposed to a whole lot more than we were at our age. Let's start with Wi-Fi and the internet, right? And this is leading to my point where we can't evolve using the same disciplinary actions that we received as kids, right? Um, I would still pop my kid. I haven't in years, right? But I think we have to adjust with time, right? My daughter told me one time, it was like actually not too long ago, maybe last year. She said she was talking back. I took it as talk back. She said, I said, just do what I said, do whatever. She said, stop being disrespectful. She said, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just expressing myself.
Mm.
I was like, whoa.
That's tough.
That and it silenced me, right?
Let that sink in.
But as the parent, I'm still trying to, hold on to whatever it was I'm saying. Just go do what I said do. But it's different nowadays, and we're also past the because I said so era. Like because I said so, not really gonna cut it. I'm not one for explaining myself, but I realize that with kids nowadays, like they're brilliant. So it's important for them to understand the why, right? But don't take that out of context. When I ask you to do something, I need you to do it. Right? I'm not feeling to sit here and keep explaining myself. Now we can discuss it after what I asked you to do get done. But now when I ask you to do something, you do. But yeah, they do require more explanation. I think the why is important. So now, man, I'm taking cell phones. If the kitchen's not clean by a certain hour, I'm taking cell phones. My son just got a gaming PC. I shut that down for the whole month. So I'm taking the things that they love. I punched my son a few times, hit him in the shoulder. So I'm like, go do this or that. But I think my main point of discipline is just taking the items that they have now, the things that they love. No TV. All right, no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is out because you didn't do a chore or maybe something happened in school. So I think my main answer is just taking the things that they love to play with, their gadgets, electronics.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I I think it depends on the offense. I think I don't want to act like I just stole Tiff comment. Tiff said the same thing. She said depends on the offense right there. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it depends on the offense. I think we live in a judicial system and we're a democracy. If she does a simple thing, that's probably my biggest gripe with my parents. I got hit the first time, no matter whether they told me don't do it or not. I had to kind of read whether I was supposed to do that or not and try to play some guesswork. Is it okay for me to do this? So now the first time I'm gonna make sure I establish that this will not be done. Like in my household, I have a rule. My daughter is not to open any door, not like outside door to go out the home. Any exterior door out the home, or whether she's at the church with me or any of that, she cannot go outside that door and open it. Now she knows this, but sometimes she tries it. And that's the last time she got popped. It was at the church, me and my wife going out, and before we put an alarm system for the church, before I type it in, my daughter opened the door. And it's not a major pop, but I ain't gonna say which one of us did it, but it was a quick pop, and it was telling you right now, you're not supposed to open doors. That's not what you do. And because of this is because it's a fear my daughter will open the door and I lose her. And I explain that to you. So I agree with Coop. Because I said so is not an adequate answer for me. Most time I agree. If you can't explain something, it may be because it's not right and you haven't thought it through. At least get reasons for the reasons why you're doing the thing. So I can explain to most of the reasons why I do things, I can explain it to my daughter. But if it get to the point where she's starting to like question my authority on things, then no, I'm gonna say I am the authority figure. And that's just what it is. But I think the biggest thing to be an authority, I think you have to be under authority. Once you are under discipline and you're taught to be disciplined and been disciplined, you learn from that and then you go forth with that. Like most of the time, I put myself in my daughter's shoes. I would like an answers in some situations, and I felt like if I deserved the answer, I'm gonna give her an answer, and that's just the way it works. I mean, simple explanation. Yeah.
Who is tough one here? For myself, I don't give out no whoopings. Right now, I'm not saying it's the right way. It might be the wrong way.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of these comments I want you to put up here. Um, it was Matt Beard.
I'm gonna find it.
All right.
And I'm
Go.
just noticing the comments really, but
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Matt and I used to work at a youth academy for at-risk youth. So I want you to think about when you was a kid, when you were a kid, that one kid that went to that left the classroom and never came back. I would have 55 of those kids in one building, right? And my partner was Matt Beard, and we used to, believe it or not, we got to a point where we never had to discipline those kids. It's crazy. It's crazy. A boot camp where you're never disciplining the kid, never having to discipline the kids. And what I found out was it's more labor intensive, but it works. Like everything that we did, we read the riot act. We tell you what to do, what we expected from you, every single thing of the way, right? Now I know you can't do that in real life. You can't do it in real life. In a controlled setting, this works. But my mentality has always been violence is not love. Right? So for me, how I feel is violence is not love. And I think that
I woke you because I love you.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. Like I said, I am not the expert in this at all. But to me, I feel like violence is not love. And then rationalizing violence against someone much smaller and weaker than you for the sake of I care about you, to me only causes confusion and slave trauma, if you ask me. Like and so that's the reason why I try to reason. And there may be a time when I no longer can reason with my children. I'm not saying that because I know that some kids they like that, and my kids can very well become that. But as long as I can reason with them, and as long as they love me in a way that my disappointment hurts them just as much as a spanking, then that's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm shooting for. So my goal is reason, but who knows, man? Maybe it won't work out. Like, who knows? But that's what I'm rocking with right now. That's what I'm rocking with right now.
You know, something I told my older kid. Well, for starters, I'm gonna shout out my wife, Sharice. She's really the balance in our household. Because honestly, if it was just me, it would just be a dictatorship around here. To be honest, you know, I'll be on together 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock. This happens, that happens,
and nothing can go wrong that way, right? But it doesn't. That's not the way to do it, though.
I agree, and she shuts it down. You know, she's like, we listen, we're not doing that. All right, and then she break it down to my, but I put my lip out. All right, but I used to tell my older kids, right? I told them, number one, when I discipline them, I say, it's you may not understand why now, but in the future you be like, oh, that's why my dad made me do that. That's why my parents made me do that. Like I was telling my kids, like it's things that I realize now, I'll be I was 25 and something dawned on me like, oh, that's what my mama meant when she said such and such or whatever. But anyway, so I tell my kids, whoopings, I said, do you know what grown people whoopings are? I said, I whoop you now so you don't have to get whooped when you get grown. And how I explained grown people whoopings to them were people going to jail, people you see homeless sitting on the side of the street begging for money, people that don't have anything going for themselves in their lives. So I used to say, I whoop you now because I don't want you to get grown people whoopings, because grown people's whoopings going to hurt a lot more. So if you get them now and get the discipline and understand, when you get grown, you will already be in the know and you won't have to go through it. So that was my explanation years and years ago. I actually asked my son about it couple weeks ago, and he remembered what I used to tell him. So,
All right. The next point is raising kids outside the house.
Okay. Let's hear it, Coop.
just shut up and take what you can get.
No, I mean, like, this is a big deal, man. This is a big deal here. This is a good one. This is your topic.
It is. Did you say this was my topic?
This was your topic. You brought this one up. You gotta get me in trouble.
So you gonna make sure you clarify that. Yeah, Coop brought this up, baby. So, wow. Okay. So it's tough. It's extremely tough. I think if I gave advice, well, for starters, I had a lot of role models, right? And when I say role models, I don't mean people that taught you the right thing to do, right? Most of my role models growing up showed me what not to do, right? I saw how kids outside of the household would damage your current household. And I saw how men would blame like baby mothers for this. Well, she this, she crazy, or she this and she that, right? But at the same time, not realizing their faults and the things that they were doing, right? First thing is like you can't be dipping and dabbing, right? Can't be dipping and dabbing. When it's done, it's done. You understand? And we're speaking from the perspective of a healthy co-parenting relationship, right? But one of my main pieces of advice would be swallow your pride. I think we all know, and some people may differ, that the man always has the short end of the stick when it comes down to splitting up households when kids are involved. So, I think swallowing your pride would be one. I don't think people lay down with others that they don't see fit to be good parents. All right. And just because you disagree or you don't agree with something, again, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just not your way of doing things. So one of the biggest things is, swallow your pride and keep the peace. Swallow your pride, keep the peace and understand, you're not the only parent, right? My biggest thing is not to get personal, but anyone's main reason, the biggest and most important thing should be spending time with your kids and the kids' well-being, right? Once you lose sight of that and the issues become personal, you're damaging the kids, you're harming the kids, right? You shouldn't be speaking bad about the other parent regardless of what it is, and vice versa. To keep a healthy, keep a healthy relationship. Be cordial. Discuss adult things with adults, right? We shouldn't be passing messages through 11-year-old or teenagers. Like, adults should discuss adult decisions concerning their kids. And at the end of the day, it's all about the kids. So figure it out. Swallow your pride. Take blow some of that air out your chest. You understand, for the benefit of your kids, y'all got to come together and do the right thing. But it's definitely tough.
Man, I haven't experienced it, but one of the things that I always wonder is, can any side ever win an argument? Because really, when you stop and think about it, right? I know it seems like a lot of times as the person sitting on the outside, sometimes I watch these things, and the arguments sometimes seem like the biggest issues all the time. And as an outside party, not the two people going through it, sometimes I feel like, man, neither one of you going to win this argument. So like, it just seems like it's a lot of compromise. Like, I mean, and eventually you do get to a compromise, but you burnt so many bridges and had each other hate each other so much over this arbitrary thing that somebody could have said, "I can live with that."
Yeah.
And like you said, it's about mutual respect. Like
See,
you gotta respect them as a boyfriend or a husband, or but you at least gotta respect them as the father or the mother of your child. Like you have to respect that.
right, and own up to your flaws and say I'm sorry. Like you got to apologize.
Yeah.
Even when you don't believe you're wrong, but you gotta look at things from other people's perspective and understand why they thought you were wrong, or understand why they feel the way they feel, regardless of what you think about it. You know, so put yourself in the other person's shoes, and at the end of the day, what are you really gaining from it except an argument, or just say I'm sorry, I apologize. Let's move forward. How can we fix this going forward? Right, in the future, I'll make sure I don't make this mistake again. In return, could you address it in this way if I tend to get off task? But definitely tough.
I can say, yeah, it'd be tough for me to even comment on this. I mean, it's not something that I could really speak on personally because in my life, me and my wife have been together throughout my child's whole existence. But I and watching my sister, what I'm saying, raising her child, I do agree the complex situation of not letting somebody back and forth if they don't want to be in, but 1 week they do, 1 week they don't, and then they kind of not giving your child all of which they deserve. Sometimes you got to protect your child. I mean, and I always go down to the fact, oh, I want to see a person fight for their kid. I think real parents fight for their children. I can imagine, what I'm saying, if me and my wife if we were to separate, it'd be a hard thing because both of us are very, very passionate about our children. And I think the love burns deep. And then at the same time, I mean, I guess it's the relationship too and how bad it end. I just, y'all, if y'all could tell, I mean, it's a hard thing for me to comment on. It's nothing like, I have to go into like hypotheticals. I think every situation is different for everybody because everything, you got two different individuals and in a child, and that's it. I mean, think about how much you care about your child, and then you separate from another individual. You still care for your child, and you don't know what that other individual might tie in. I think the biggest thing, if they enter another relationship, what else are they bringing, and what else is your child being exposed to? I couldn't imagine my wife, so we divorced and she remarried another person that had different ideals than me. That's gonna be very complex for me. And that's gonna be something, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works out. And I'm not gonna even stand up and act like I do. I mean, it's a complex situation. I mean, like I say, I lean towards somebody that knows better than me.
I'm gonna say I think just from I think rule number one is no matter what your situation is, show up. Like that's the first thing. Whether it's just the weekends, whether it's every other weekend, show up. Right, you show up, and one thing I can say, like what, my dad always showed up. He's still showing up. He in the comment section right now. You show up, like you show up. And then everything else kind of plays itself because even some things I did not understand as a kid, I understand better now that I'm a father, but still show up. I joke about this and I say it, but somewhere in America right now, LeBron James' daddy is at a bar saying, "That's my son," and everybody like, "Man, shut up." Like, don't nobody believe. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's somebody in America right there at a bar saying, "My son LeBron James." Everybody like, "Man, shut up, man."
Man, if you with him, even if they did believe you, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't be telling nobody that.
Yeah,
Shut up.
no dad.
Who wants to be that guy?
If his dad was there, would LeBron James be LeBron James today?
You're right, man. It's all in God's plan, man. It's all in God's plan. It's all in God's
So maybe you should thank him.
Maybe he should thank him. Send him a check. Send him a check for that.
But I want to reiterate what you just said though. Like, just show up, man. Like, The money. I mean, money does matter. All of that matters. But that walk to the store with that kid to buy them that 10-cent piece of candy, it's like that's things that they're gonna remember forever. Like they're not gonna remember you had fancy cars. I'm not saying they won't remember that, but it doesn't matter what you have, man. Just show up.
Yeah, just show up.
Just show up, man. Do like effort. Effort is what I think effort matters the most.
Yeah. I heard an interesting quote one time. They say kids don't care about presents. They care about your presence.
Mm.
Your presence being there, not just giving gifts. Because somebody can just show up and give gifts and walk out the door. I think my kids often care more about the quality of time we spend together than anything I can go buy them. If I sit down with my daughter and try to play trouble, it's more interesting than her than me going out there and buying her 1,000 things. Me sitting there and playing that game with her is
You know,
more more
and I'm gonna tell you something really
vibe.
cool just about fatherhood now that I'm older, right? Because like all of you guys and the guys in this comments and other people that ain't here, my daughter, like she gets to see black fathers all the time, and she refers to all of my friends as her uncles. Like they all her uncles, right?
Mhm.
And so to me, when I think and I'm like, man, like she has a higher expectation of what black men are. And to
Mm.
me it's like it's beautiful.
Mm.
It's beautiful that all of my friends, like they are active fathers. I don't think I would
Mhm.
even deal with y'all if you wasn't, to be honest with
Oh, you already know
you.
mine.
I probably wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, because what I mean, if you don't care about what came out of you, you definitely ain't gonna care about me. you
Yeah.
know so
Mm.
that's one of the things. But let's go ahead and we did one thing we didn't do today, man. We didn't read the comments, so I'm gonna blaze through these things. All right, I'm gonna
Hmm.
start from the bottom. Tiff got the wave in. She is always the first. She the first on the trigger. Y'all got to speed up. Uh,
Hmm.
Kevin in here. Shout out to Kevin. You always in here. You always rocking with me, bro. Love you to death. Crystal in here. She always rocking with us. Todd in here, like always, he rocking with us. Let's see.
Todd.
Going up. Say what?
It's a Todd.
Yeah, Todd. Big him. All right. Tiffany, she said her mouth got her in trouble a lot, and her mom wasn't afraid to put her back in place. I'm gonna have to call her mama over here. All right, Crystal. She said not too much on our parents. Uh, he said I'm the angry dad, but I don't beat my kids. I I know you ain't the angry dad, Kevin. Stop capping. Yeah, this is the happiest guy I know. He said he makes him do wall squats. She said she didn't get in trouble either. I don't know if that's true. Corey will have to verify that. Kevin is giving out timeouts. I don't know about that. Tiffany don't spank. I know that's right. Don't put your hands on my babies. All right. Let's see. Crystal said her kids are brats. Let's see where we at. But all the fun set aside. It's a generation. You have babies having babies, and somebody got to go to work. The babies raise each other babies. You know what?
Mm.
That's a thought that I didn't even
Mm.
think about it. One of the things. All right, We're gonna try your thing, Corey, and we're gonna try to go 5 minutes over to see what happens.
Oh, I
All
know
right.
they do. I'm
All right.
absolutely positive.
We're gonna try it. On Crystal's thought, right? She said, with both parents having to go to work, right? I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure that we, like, in this capitalist economy that we always want more money, more money, more money, more money. We're really thinking about the fact that when you don't, who is raising the kids other than the television?
Mm. And it's not the teacher's responsibility to raise y'all kids either.
Yeah, I mean, because really, stop and think about it. If your kids at school and then you got to work, and then by the time you go to work, you got to eat and shower them, and bathe them, and put them down. I mean,
Mm.
the school is having more of an influence on your kids than you are.
That's true.
Yeah, the streets raising them. That's a good point.
I don't know. I think I'm very. I make an active duty to know everything that my daughter is consuming. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what's going on at the school. You know what I'm saying? She always with me, so we always together. I mean, most of the time you see me, I'm with my family. We roll together. My daughter asked me one morning, why, Daddy, why we gotta go to church? I'm like, well, I'm going to church and we family, so we go to church. You know what I'm saying? We go together. We're going to go together. So at the end of the day, it's deeper than that. But yeah, but we gonna go everywhere together. We are family. We, you know what I'm saying? Where she go, I go. Where I go, she go. And it's just the way it is. I'm watchful though of what my daughter is consuming. I think everybody should be, especially what's going on in today's media. And we gotta watch,
Mhm.
especially what's going on in TV. You never know. And I mean, I remember y'all see Coca Melon. Y'all watch Coca Melon. I'm probably the first person to know it. They changed it now,
They
but
changed it.
they changed a certain spot
That
because
little baby is bad. All that baby do is say no, no, no. I ain't finna do this. I ain't finna do that.
but it was a big aspect when it first came out. It's different now, but when it first came out, it was no black children. It's on the white children.
I'm sure.
But no, it
Look,
was
yeah, maybe.
monkeys. There were monkeys that looked like that was
Wow.
dressed like black people. And I told my wife, turn it off.
Man,
Don't play that.
stop.
I'm not lying to you. Go to the original episodes of Cocomelon
I'm
and
sure they
look at
probably ain't got them on no more.
now they got black children. They got black children now. I'm pretty sure somebody else noticed it. But when you watch like barrettes in the hair, it was monkeys. Like they had hair like black people. They dressed like black people, but the white
Oh my
kids were
god.
white kids, and the dark skinned people were monkeys. I'm dead serious. And I told my wife, don't play that. I'm dead. If I'm
Don't play
lying,
that.
tell me I'm flying. Like
But
y'all go look at it. And now
but
they
And
got black kids.
it be a listen. I'm telling you, it be a lot of subliminal messages in them cartoons and in them baby shows. Like you got to watch it for yourself because it be things that they're saying. I'm like, hold up, how would a kid know what that means? You know? Yeah, but I'm gonna check that out, Corey.
Go to Wheels
hey,
on the Bus.
hey,
Wheels
shout,
on the Bus. They
hey,
walked on the bus. It was
shout out to John Schubal. He said, Vombo, I don't think I know you, but I think you came on Pops. Hey, greetings and welcome. Be sure you subscribe and like, man. We're gonna be up here on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. All right, Crystal. What is happening, sis? Kevin, see who else we got? Who else we got up here? We got Matt up here. Shout out to Matt. We got George always up in here. Thank you, George, for rocking with us. Who else do we have in here? We got Var in here. Var in the building. I know he pulling the all nighter. That man got to get in that. He got to get in the truck in about 2 hours, man. I appreciate you rocking with us, man. He only here because you here though, Coop.
That's my guy, man.
We got Ryan in the building. Ryan couldn't rock with us tonight. He had other stuff, but he made sure that he came in. Hey, Sharice, what's up, sis? Who else we got in here? Boom, boom, boom. Again, Matt, George. I think we hit everybody. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Thank y'all so much. Let's see, which other tops we got? I'm at the top. Hey, what you got, Corey? You got any more up here?
oh yeah, we did have another question. No, that was the last one. That was
Oh,
the last one. Yeah,
oh,
that's
at the top. Hey, we got Tawana here. Thank you for coming. You always up here. We appreciate you so much. We love you so much. All right. So, what was the last question? We finished the
the
we
last
last
should
question.
one. No, we got the last one. We did get the last one. I'm sorry.
we should
We
we
did get the
should
last.
let the audience or the people in the comments ask a question.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
Anybody in the comments, anybody in the audience got a question? Anything they like to ask anyone or any topic, any future topics? Something you like to see some distinguished gentlemen discuss?
Distinguished. You bringing the tie out tomorrow?
I mean, well, you know. And I might be, I don't know if y'all noticed, like when I'm talking, my speech might be a little slurred. So, I mean, I can actually talk. I just got these Invisaligns in my mouth, so don't hold that against me.
Oh,
I
okay.
want, I want y'all to invite me back now.
Oh man, you always welcome. Always. All right. He
I
said, "What do
can
you
be
draw the line?" Hold on. He said, "What do you draw the line? What do you draw the line to protect your kids?"
What do you mean?
Who want to go first?
I think it's It's an interesting concept, especially like when you, let's say, because I seen this clip. I don't know how real it was, but this guy walked in and his daughter had a black eye, and there was another girl there, and he asked, "Did you hit my daughter?" I'm like, "What are you about to do? You about to hit the kid?"
Mm.
And I'm like, "You gonna hit a kid because they hit your kid?" And I think there is a line, but at the end of the day, I think it's hard. Let me say that because we talked about this like bullying in school. Like if you walk up and your 8-year old daughter got beat by a 13-year-old boy, like that's a hard situation. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough situation, but I think oftentimes I told you it's different for every situation. It's hard to just drawing the line is at the end of the day, I'm not gonna change who I am. At the end of the day, I try to show love in every situation because I look at children and I know they're children. At the end of the day, hurt people do hurt things. I always remember that. Hurt people do hurt things. And I often see the individual and ask myself, what have they been through to put themselves in this situation? I try to show empathy. At the end of the day, it's a lot of things that go into it. And we
So
passed the hour mark and we still up here. So
good conversation.
Okay,
yeah.
I
So
want to answer. Oh, go ahead. What you got?
no,
Oh no,
I was gonna answer the question, but go ahead. I'll go after you.
all right. So I before Crystal could clear the question up, my thought process is this: I know as I grow, my fears change.
Mm,
Mm.
I no longer have fears of like something happening to me. My biggest fear is somebody put me in a situation where I can no longer be there for my kids. I am so cautious of that. I am
Whew.
so cautious that I know that my family depends on
mm,
me. So I try not to put myself in situations where
Mm,
somebody's going to
mm,
make
mm.
me have to make a choice like that. So where I draw the line like that, that is one of my biggest fears. Now, after reading her example, she was like, "Do you want people around your kids that don't like and respect you?" I said earlier, just from my personal stance, um, people that I bring around my kids are people that I have vetted myself, and I respect them enough to bring around my kids because I know that my kids they're blank canvases. They don't know a whole lot right now, so all they're gonna know is what I expose to them and what's exposed to them. And I try not to put people that I don't respect around them. And if they don't respect me, more than likely I'm not gonna respect them. What you got, Core? Oh, it's on Coop. I don't know what Coop went.
yeah,
I see Martin. I see Malcolm.
yeah. Definitely, I agree with you. At the end of the day, I'm always conscious about what's going on in my kids' lives. Not only that, my sister's in the chat, and she know I keep an ever watchful eye on my niece and my nephew. I love them very much. I'm a youth pastor, so at the end of the day, I have to be conscientious of those things, and I'm watching these kids to see what's going on, what's involved in their lives, and what's the people that's coming in their lives, because you never know if people got the same intentions or the same beliefs. At the end of the day, beliefs are serious. Beliefs are very, very serious. I mean, there's dangerous beliefs, and depending on how dangerous they are, yeah, I might not let you around my kids. It's people today that I don't want to bring that, but it's people today that I haven't brought my kids around. It's not that I got a problem with them, but I don't want my kids to be exposed. I can handle what they're around that type of environment, but it's not that I don't want my kids exposed to that right now. Because at the end of the day, I got to explain to them what's going on and whether they can really grasp what I'm trying to say. That affects me trying to expose. I don't mean to be very, very vague, but I don't want to dive into that. But it's certain certain things that can be involved that you can be involved with that I don't want my kid around. Maybe I'm comfortable with being around that because I know how to handle it, but my kids don't know how to handle it. So I'm not going to bring my kids around that.
Hey, pull him in, Core. All right,
All right.
so back to what Matt said. Guess that's why you have about my kids. Hey, listen here. Let me explain something to you, Matt. When I was out looking for houses, I spoke to the real estate agent. I said, "Look, I gotta have a guest bedroom because I ain't seen my homeboy Matt in years, and that's the reason why I got a guest bedroom. You just choose not to go ahead and check in."
Mhm.
All right, so what else we got? Did you pull Coop in or you can't pull him in?
I can pull him in, but he's not there. Say something, cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can hear you, but we can't see you.
He got to cut his mic on. He got to cut his camera on.
Yeah, you gotta cut your
So
camera
now,
on.
so now I'm black. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
All right, see what else we got here. All right,
The
so we get
camera
our.
should be on.
Well, hey, look here, man. You're day late and $1 short, man, because we at that 105, and I know that everybody got stuff to do in the morning. We try not to, we appreciate the time that you rock with us. We always try to keep it within an hour. We was just testing to see if we could go over that hour mark. Thank you for helping us get there, because we were not there before. At least we didn't know if we were. Um, hey, any closing comments that you got, Coop?
Um, again, man, I just want to thank you guys for having me. This show is it's amazing. Comment section is really jumping. People really in tune. I'm mad I wasn't a part of it earlier. I've been catching up on all the first episodes, but thank you all for having me. Thanks to the crew. I hope you guys invite me back. Thinking we can make it every Thursday thing, but I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Hey, see you next
But
Thursday, bro.
yeah, but thank y'all, man. I don't know what happened to my camera, but thank you guys again, Ryan, Corey, everybody in the comments. I appreciate it.
All good.
No
So you,
problem.
Corey.
Yes, I thank y'all again for tuning in with us. I thank y'all for dedicating y'all time to us, man, helping us grow and be better. We forever trying to find bigger and better ways to change this podcast and make it grow. Thank y'all for being patient with us. And y'all have a blessed and wonderful day.
Mm. All right. So in closing, I'm going to say this one thing. Um, Again, thank you. Like I always say, I'm forever grateful. Um, One of my friends, George, he told me something that I never really thought about, and I'm going to continue to do this. Um, Man, be sure that you tell your kids you love them all the time.
Mm.
If you don't do nothing else, because and the way he explained it to me, it made all the sense in the world to me. If you ain't gonna do it, who else gonna do it? Let them know that they value. It kind of plays into where we always close this thing out about loving yours. So, uh, again, love yours. We out.